MacG?
I would like to talk how much pussy you used to get.
Oh, MacG, if I talk about pussy, we will never leave. It was pussy today, pussy tomorrow. It was pussy every day. I tell you now, and I'm not talking about the cat. I talk real pussy. I tell you now, there was time I'm not supposed to be living after 30. The joke is on me. I should be dead. How much pussy I had.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It's another episode of Podcast and Chill. Tabang, which camera am I looking at? This one or this one? This one. That one. Oh, okay. I'm looking at that one. Please welcome Tholi Elinye.
Tholi Bazala.
Elinye.
Tholi Pazuga.
Elinye.
Tholi Plompot.
Tholi Bonanza.
Tholi Breadwinner. That's what's up, man.
One of the best DJs to ever grace the mic.
Oh, thank you so much. This is coming from you, Mac.
Yeah.
Come on now. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
man.
That. Hopefully I do justice to this mic, yeah.
Do you think my 2000s know you?
Only a few, mostly because of their mothers. Their mothers and aunts know me, the older sisters, you know. They're like, who's this Tholi big guy?
Yeah.
No, remember like a YFM.
And you had a good run, dog.
I had a great run, you know. Why was good? We're talking like what, 12 years ago?
Shit.
13 years ago.
Shit.
When I started, but I mean, I only stopped or left Y in 2013. So if you were born in 2000, in 2013, you were 13. Oh, but you were listening to radio then. Surely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, a few do.
But you know what? Throughout my radio career, I hated guys like you.
What, dog? What did I ever do?
No, because you guys were like you, né? You were clean. Never fucked around. Never got a warning.
Yeah.
You'd get in there, say the time, the temperature.
Yeah.
You know, you were like a program manager's delight. Like,
I know, right?
You know, every program manager wants a radio jock like you.
Yeah.
And then me, on the other hand, you know, I'm unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
You know, so
that's the fun thing about radio, though, is that we can't all be the same. Can you imagine if all of us were the same? You know, where would the fun be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, while there are certain things that you might think I did well, there are amazing things that I thought you did well. You know,
did you ever get a warning?
I used to listen. Yes, but it had nothing to do with on air.
For real?
Yeah.
You got a warning, Tholi?
Yeah,
You
bro.
lying?
I'm telling you, bro. It had nothing to do with on air, ne? It was an email I sent.
Yeah.
This was at Y. I think we were having a Club Y. Remember we used to have Club
Yeah,
Ys
Carfax and stuff, yeah.
and they put some DJs on the roll that were not YFM DJs.
Okay.
And there was one or two YFM DJs that were not there, right? And I felt like, you know, somebody's got to talk up. You know what I mean? Someone's got to speak up here. You know, this can't be done. You know, we here. Let us. I was on, but other people went on. You know.
Yeah.
I remember sending an email. It wasn't a scathing email or anything like that, but you know, it did address the fact that there's this DJ who's from another radio station on a Club Y.
Oh,
whereas
who was it?
And he's my boy. So it had nothing to do with him, right?
Personally.
It had to do with the fact that some of the YFM DJs aren't on this and Milkshake is on 5.
Principles.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Milkshake is on 5.
Oh.
But Milkshake was hot at the time. You know what I mean? You can't say no to Milkshake. But we had some hip-hop DJs there. You know, I used to play hip-hop at the time.
Jaws.
Jaws and all these other guys, C-Live and Zandy and all of them. So I sent an email to say, you know, something to the likes of, you know, maybe we should be considered first before we consider someone from another radio station.
Who are you sending an email to?
Did I send it to Kenton? I think.
Kenton Villay.
I don't know. Someone up there, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember Sean.
I don't remember.
I remember him saying, "Look, the guys want to talk to you," and I just knew how to do it with that, you know. And I went and I with HR and all those people.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, cool! This is a little bit bigger than I thought." I remember. I actually think there were one or two other YFM DJs who said, "Now let's go do this, right?" And I thought everybody's doing it, but turns out I did, unless someone else did it, and they also got a warning, which I don't know about, right? So, but it wasn't a bad thing because the guys just said, "Look, the thing I did wrong, though, is here's what I think the warning was about." Because if you send an email to one individual and only they see it, then it's part of a linear conversation. So you can just have a conversation with that person and finish the conversation, right? But I think that I replied to all.
Yeah.
Now, that was the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because me and Kenten were cool. Most people don't believe this. Like, we were cool, right?
Yeah.
But if I had just sent to him, it would have been okay. But I think I replied to all or something like that. And they said, "Look, the channel of communication is not right for these and this and these reasons. You know that you can always go to your programs manager, the music manager, and then all these things and whatever the case is." Later on, when I became station manager, I understood what they were saying, you know?
Yeah.
And I did the same to some people. So we're good. No. It was never about anything on air, you know, as you said.
So you never got a warning
For
from
on air?
On air?
Never.
Never got suspended?
Never.
Look at you. Look at you.
That was smooth, brother. Clean.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is that like something that you do intentionally in terms of like, okay, cool, I want to be a clean broadcaster. Like, I don't want to piss anyone off. I'm just going to be safe.
Not really, no. I don't remember a time where I ever sat and thought like that. I think it's just the personality that I have. It's just my character. And I mean, I've danced on the edge, you know. I've always known that with most things, especially radio, the terrestrial radio that we know, you can dance on the edge. You have to dance on the edge, you know. But the idea is not to throw yourself over the edge.
Yeah, you should have told me that.
Yeah. But you can dance on the edge, you know. You can, hey, you know. But don't throw yourself over the edge, you know, because hey, who's gonna come fetch you down there?
No one.
You know, no one's gonna come fetch you. You know? So I danced on the edge quite a lot, you know. But I did it my way, and everyone will do it differently, you know what I mean? But I was never really the shock jock. But I did do crazy, amazing stuff on the edge stuff without.
Did you ever do
myself
something?
over.
Because I remember I'd do something on air and I could feel it in my gut. Like, yo, this is either going to go great or it's going to go really, really far left. Like it's going to end in tears. Did you ever feel that?
Yeah, sometimes you do. I mean, I can't pinpoint the actual time and place and whatever it was, but sometimes you do think, because your team always pushes you as well, you know. You and I, we did most of our radio with teams, you know what I mean? Like the graveyard stuff wasn't too long for us, you know, a year, 2 years at most, maybe.
Yeah.
And then you bang in the middle of the day, and then you got a team, you got a co-presenter, you got a producer, you got all these people that want more, that also say, no, but you know, you can also say this, you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I can't pinpoint the actual time, but sometimes you do feel like, oof, is that gonna come back to bite me? You know, we used to have that black phone in the studio.
Yeah.
If that one rings, you know,
Oh, yeah, you
it's top
shit.
management.
Yeah.
So no, that never rang with me.
And you guys corrupted me. And when I say you guys, you and the whole squad that was there at Y at
Yeah.
the time. Because I was a young guy, right? So I'm fresh out of high school, you know?
Yeah.
Don't know about the game. Get into radio. I was doing, you were doing Trevor Noah's show.
Hey, that's my claim to fame. Which camera am I looking at? That's my claim to fame, right? You're gonna come back to that thought. no?
Yeah.
I took Trevor Noah's show from Y. Most people don't even know Trevor Noah was on YFM.
Yeah, midnight.
He was
Noah's
doing
Ark.
midnight, right? So anyway, I'm gonna come back to you, but I
Yeah.
must tell this story. So I'm new on Y. Well, new because I used to do the Joint Street team, but that was just presenting on the streets, you know, for like 2 years or so.
With AKM Kaka.
With Umkaka, you know, 2007. Trevor is on Y. And they sort of give me 3 to 6 a.m., you know what I mean, for like 2 weeks. I mean, I'm like 2 weeks on, right? Trevor is not there, and they need someone to stand in for Trevor. Trevor starts doing these TV shows and, you know,
Mr. Celsi.
and what Mr. Celsi, the Celsi stuff and all that. And for about 2 weeks, I kept saying, you know, it's Tholi B standing in for Trevor Noah. Tholi B standing in for Trevor Noah every single day, you know?
Yeah.
And then Shaba and them were like, Morena, fella, this is now your show. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, no, Trevor's not coming back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell happened to Trevor? They're like, no, it's not anything bad. But he's just, and his journey, what he's doing now, it's a pedigree of a lot of work and a lot of people who put in work to make sure that he finds himself where he is, because he had already started, not necessarily to think about the Daily Show, but to think of the kind of brand he wants to build for himself and where he wants to find himself. And part of it was communicated to me to say, no, but he's got his managers and these people that, he's trying to do bigger things and this and that and whatever the case is. And the 12 to 3 a.m. is just not working for him. And I said, it's fine. I took his show.
Yeah.
That's all that matters to me, because now I've got a Monday to Friday. Which even if it's midnight, it's still good. It's a good way to get into radio, right? So that's my claim to fame. I took Trevor Noah's show from YFM, and once they heard me, he never came back.
And you know what? I took your show on the weekends.
This is true, right?
So big shout out to Trevor. Trevor put us on.
No, he really did. No, he really did.
I did your show, the after party.
Yeah,
on the weekends. But anyway, so I get during the week, I'm standing in. I think I was doing the show after you. So you were doing Trevor's show. I come in after you, right? And then you're talking to this caller, right? And I'm like, hey, okay, cool. He's not talking to the caller on air. And then I was coming in. I was about to do the show. And then once she drops, I'm like, who's that? It's like, it's a listener. I'm going to go rock here now. I'm like, hey, you guys rock listeners.
You see, the word rock is very relative. The word rock is very relative,
You remember that day?
I don't actually, Mac. I have no idea what he's talking about. So anyway,
I will never forget that day. You literally left the studio, went to this chick's house.
I was young, dumb, and full of cum. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so this is how we roll. Okay.
No. It's not so much how we roll. It's so much. Sometimes that's how you find your girlfriend. I've always been like a cool, neat guy.
Yeah.
You can find your girlfriend in church, on Facebook. She could be listening to you, on radio, and she just happened to be listening to me on radio.
But let's be honest. How much pussy did you get at Y? Be honest with me. Don't you?
Jeez, no one gave,
I don't lie to it.
No one gave.
But I learned from you guys.
I'll tell if you tell.
They already know. My chillers already know. They already know my stories. It's all out there.
Let's. I don't have a high body count.
You
serious. I mean,
totally.
You and Flavor were the guys at Y.
Yeah, but you were doing
and Bob Bobstar.
You were doing daytime, bro.
Huh?
You were doing daytime.
No, but I mean, you guys were the rocking guys, right? He's talking about rocking. These were the rocking guys.
Yeah.
Huh?
Why don't you want to talk about that? Because I mean, it's in the past. It happened. You were young.
No. I've already said. I mean, when you're young, like I said, things happen. I'm not gonna sit here and act as if I've never been a rebel or I've never done, things I'm proud of and things I'm not so proud of and crazy stuff.
Yeah. But you were getting a lot of pussy, no?
Obviously, did it.
You're getting a lot, no?
The body count is quite north. It's quite north.
And unlike me, you're a true vendor man, you. Oh shit! People don't know that you're the one who did that.
I did that voice for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I remember, when was it? I think it was in the weekend. We were in Studio 2.
Yeah.
And we were fucking around.
Yeah.
And it was like, Tholi, please record Animator.
Yeah.
And that happened to be.
And I did that for you. In fact, you and I this was in Rosebank when we were still at the Zone, right? I don't think you had your show yet. You hadn't had your show yet then. I remember we've slept in Studio 2 like countless times, and people don't even know this,
Yeah.
See how I've changed the subject now. Cool, thank you. Let's move on. We slept in Studio 2, and these are the things that we used to do to sacrifice for being on radio, especially a brand like Y, not for rocking the girls, for being on air.
Someone should have told me that.
No, but look, you balanced it well until, I don't know what happened, but you were balancing it well.
Yeah.
Then I was over with it. Girls on air, girls on air, girls on air.
Yeah. So you were saying, we're in Studio 2.
Yeah, but we used to sleep in studio. I remember actually Mo introduced me to you when you came through. and he was like, yo, this boy is like the hottest thing I've ever heard, blah, 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 all those things. I remember listening to you and also thinking, yeah, no, our jobs, our days are numbered, yeah. There's some young vendor boy from, what was that kiddish show you presented? Crazy. Yeah. He's from Crazy, this one. I'm like, this young vendor boy from that TV show, Crazy. They grew up on TV. He's a natural. What? Like, yes, that's our jobs are done, yeah. You know? But that's a good thing because then that was a great entry for you, you know? Yeah, but what I just wanted to say was we slept in the studio. You know, it was never really all honky-dory. I mean, before this 2007, when I got my show, I was doing this Joint Street team for 2 years. First year of which I didn't even get paid for it because I wasn't contracted to YFM.
Yeah.
So you're doing all that stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
But because you love radio, you love the art, you know, you love what you're doing.
How does that gig come about? Do you approach AK?
I approached the station.
Oh, so you approached Bondo. Was it Bondo?
Yes, Bondo and Shaba were still there at the
Shaba,
time.
yes.
If you remember, 2005 is
Ashifa Shaba.
What did they call it? The year of the YFM exodus. Remember, everyone left in 2005.
Yeah,
and Fresh and them went to 5.
Unati,
Boy, almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I think Sbu came back and all the stuff. The Y-Lens and all those shows started in that year. Chili M and them, right?
Essential Rush.
We used to listen to them and we used to think, hey, some of this might be out of reach for us, you know. But I actually approached Y and I said, wouldn't it be great to have like a presenter on the street to create? You see, today we talk of content creators and they're on digital and all this. I was a content creator on the streets. That's what I said. I said to them, we need to go to the streets and create content and go to the people and then put this content on air. And we are the voice of the youth. We are the voice of the urban culture. You know what I mean? And all things pop culture, in all honesty, at the time, Y was still on fire, you know, still is in many ways, right? And they said, oh, cool, it's fine, but obviously you're not contracted to Y and the contracts are finished, blah, 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 they're done, we've closed that window. I said, it's fine. I got my own studio. I used to record music back then in my own studio, do post-production stuff, edit.
Yeah, because you're a sound engineer.
Because I'm a sound engineer, you know. So I said, it's fine, don't worry about it. I'll go on the streets, I've got the equipment, I'll do it. So I literally used to use my own equipment to go out on the streets of Gauteng everywhere to get content on the ground, go back to my studio, edit all that content, and literally deliver a CD to Y. So what they did was they did an opening and a closing billboard, you know, to say the Joint Street team, what I brought to you, you know, Tholi B, whatever. And I used to put that together and give it to them, you know, for a year. And I loved doing it. I wasn't getting paid a cent.
You did it for a year?
Yeah, bro, I was driving. I did it for 2 years. But here's the thing. After about a year or so, maybe 10 months, Dickies, not Dickies where they sponsored the Joint Street team. Yeah, they sponsored that segment.
You didn't get a cent.
I got money, you know. They sponsored the segment. And I remember being called into the offices and I was being told, look, Dickies love this whole street thing that you're doing and they want to sponsor it.
When you're doing the street team, is your goal to be the DJ, to be on air? Or it was just like, you know, it's my foot in?
It was both because I also believed that content is more than sitting behind the chair and talking on the mic. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's why I made a little bit of an example with content creators on digital platforms and social media and all that kind of stuff, because ultimately we end in the business of content, not in the business of radio. Radio is a tool, you know, it gets us there. Do you get what I'm But what we really want is content, you know? So I believe that content can be done in so many different ways. Yes, I would have loved to be on air anyway, but I knew that there are other ways that we can create this content and also make it amazing, you know? Which is why I did that, yeah.
So how are you paying bills at the time for 2 years?
I was working actually. I remember the studio I spoke about. I actually was into post-production. I studied sound engineering, music, and I was in post-production. So post-production is pretty much just editing, like audio editing, doing sound design and final mixing for...
Cool edits.
For, yeah, you know, for radio adverts, TV adverts, documentaries, dramas, you name it. So that's what I used to do, you know. Used to work closely with a lot of directors, producers, and sort of the advertising industry, because they used to record a lot of their adverts at our studios in Randburg. In the end, I ended up having my own sort of business, my own studio. Even when I was at Y, when I got the show, Yes, it's bruh. You know, it's just the love for this thing, man. I used to, when I was doing 12 to 3 a.m. on Y, this is midnight to 3 a.m.
Trevor's show.
Yeah, Trevor Noah's show. The one I took from him, and he never came back, and he ran to New York because there's a guy called Tholi B who took his show. So anyway, when I was doing the show, I had a 9 to 5, obviously in the studio doing the other stuff, the post-production work. So I would do 12 to 3. I'd go home, maybe get home by 20 past, 3:30, sleep 3 hours max, 2.5, 3 hours max. I gotta wake up and go to work. And work finishes at 5, 6, 7, I'm home. I eat, I sleep a little bit so I can wake up by 9:30, just another 2 hours, 9:30, 10, so I can get ready for the 12 o'clock show. So I actually did it for a whole year.
Wow.
You know, it's the sacrifices that you have to make. You know what I'm trying to say? And I made that sacrifice, you know.
When does the change become from being the street team with AK Mkaka to now having your own show? Does Shaba approach you?
No, so after the Dickie sponsored the staff, everything went very well. I then came up with another idea, which was sponsored immediately also from Gaga's show. And then I remember going to both, Bondo and Tholi were still there as well. Bondo and Tholi and Shaba were both still there. I remember going to them and saying, guys, I'd like to be on air. And Bondo was like, oh yeah, you're the boy from the streets. I'm Fanagits. Oh, he's sounding good. You know how Bondo speaks. I'm Fanagits. Oh, he's sounding good, man. No, we can put this boy on air.
Yeah.
He's talking to Shaba. Yeah. No, Shaba was like, Morena, but you sure you'll handle on air? Morena, on air, he's nip up in place. I'm like, Ashifa, give me this thing, I'll do it. He's like, no, okay. We'll start you a graveyard. I said, I don't care where you start me. I think I'm ready to have my own show now, you know? It really was like that. And then I remember going on a Thursday and they called me back on the Friday and they said, we're giving you a show. So anyway, we sit there and they say, we're giving you a show. They were like, we're giving you 3 to 6. I jumped out of my chair. I'm thinking drive. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to replace Smooth or I don't know, was doing drive or was it Chili M? You know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do drive. I don't know, 3 to 6 on weekends. I'm still thinking, okay, cool. Okay, 3 to 6 p.m. is not so bad, but no. a.m. Got my chair on.
Yeah, when everyone's sleeping.
Yeah, when everyone's sleeping.
Yeah.
And from there on, I knew. And you know what? If you know, sometimes, and it's not even, it's confidence and it's just knowing because of years and years of affirmations and reaffirmations, right? I think there was a time when midnight radio was like any other daytime radio.
Dude.
Right? And I think we did it well. As I'm saying, it's not really like an ego thing or whatever. I really believe that we did midnight radio very well. We used to have people who would set their alarms at 5 to 12 to wake up to listen to the midnight fix.
And the girls that used to call during that time were free.
100%.
All the crazy ones would call after midnight.
And there was a list in studio. And you'd never find a guy's name on that list.
Oh, you reminded me. I enjoyed midnight radio, man.
It was the best, wasn't it?
Fuck.
And we did it. We didn't go there and think, oh, it's graveyard, it's midnight, no one's listening. I think our approach was, let's wake them up then.
Yeah.
You know?
The mature.
Even if they're up, they might be studying, they might be working, whatever it is. Let's make sure that they tune in. And that's what we did right, you know? That's why our journeys didn't take long, sort of from midnight to daytime and all that kind of stuff. But also, that's why a lot of people then, you know, knew it very early that there's proper broadcasting talent here, you know? And we did it right. And that's what you want to do. You see, even if you're put in a graveyard show, if you go there and treat it like, okay, it's just a graveyard show and not sort of give it your all.
It comes out.
It comes out. But not only that, but you could be playing yourself because you might do it so good that I might think, oh, cool, this guy must just stay on graveyard because he does it so he's so chilled, you know. He doesn't do any crazy things. I want him here. And then you are doing graveyard for 20 years of your life, man.
Yeah.
But what we did was we changed the status quo, right? Not only because we were chasing daytime, but it was who we were. But we changed radio, like because graveyard was the thing. It was like it was prime time at midnight. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
But also we let people know, and those who are our managers know, that we are capable of more, right? And that's the thing. That's what I always say. Don't go where you're uncomfortable because you just want the show. You know very well you should be doing a drive time show weekdays, and you go on a Sunday and you do it so well that they leave you there forever, right? There are some people who want to do that, but some people have got other aspirations of doing other things. I think if you're being yourself at all times and you unless if you're getting great opportunities to stand in for other people weekdays and you can showcase what you can do when you do that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because ultimately you still need to be within the guidelines of the radio station, whatever the case is. But I mean, we did some great midnight show, man.
What I liked about you was your features, man. Fuck, you had some crazy features. What those features from like past radio DJs you had heard, or it was like, you watch a TV show and you're like, ish, Cholo 99 would sound dope on radio.
Yeah, so for me, it was never from any past radio DJ. It was never anything I've heard on radio before, and I'm being very honest. But yes, it was things you pick up, on television, and you're like, this would be so good for radio. Because remember I told you, we're in the business of content, brother. You can find ways to execute and curate that content for radio, right? And that's sort of what can get missing sometimes. But it wasn't so much things that have been done, even if there was one or two things that were already done, because, there's this whole cliche that nothing under the sun is new and whatever the case is. But there are some new stuff that I brought up.
Which ones were your favorite? Because I remember there was one where you'd play a scenario, you'd say a scenario, and people used to choose a song.
Soundtrack to scenario. Oh. The soundtrack to scenario was
like,
one of the...
I should have thought of that.
I know, right? It's one of those. It's one of those, right?
Yeah.
I've had no less than 3 radio stations, DJs doing that show. As recently as 2019, I listened to a radio station and they were doing that feature.
Yeah.
Put a soundtrack to a scenario.
Yeah.
Right?
How does that come about?
Because that is from television. I forgot the show, but they were not doing put a soundtrack to a scenario. It was and I hate musicals, but I was watching a comedy show. I forgot the name of the show now, and they liked singing quite a lot to sort of explain the mood of the person, whatever the case is, right? And I thought, wow, this would be so cool on radio, but how do I do it? Because you can't just quite explain the mood of a person on radio. You got to think of ways in which you can do it. And I thought to myself, all right, what if we explained these crazy scenarios using a song? And it's, if you think about it, it's such an easy thing to do. But if you execute it well, you give it a good name, and people buy into it, then it's curtains,
And it was.
It was. And the thing is that with great features, and to everyone who's into radio, want to get into radio, is sustainability. That feature easily ran for not less than 4 years, every single week, without fail. Then it's a great feature. Even at the end, people were still like, when I stopped it, I think I would have been going to, I think it was only probably when I was leaving, because we really did that feature for a long time.
Which other features did you have? You had so many that were like that hit the
that were
spot.
proper. We had towards the later years we had generators. Remember but that's a drama. That's something that radio has done. But we had a cool drama called Generators. You know what I mean? With my technical guys, Abu Sanza, Lisiwa, Ave, which was pretty awesome.
So it's like generations on radio.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the characters are different, and we do other crazy things. What else did we do? On a Foolish Thursday, we pretty much. We used to have this, and you can't do this now on radio. I don't think on radio you can do this now. Yeah. And we literally, and I think, I don't know what happened to Twitter, but we used to do, I forgot what the name of the feature was, but the first 20 tweets or whatever the cases that come in, we read them live on air, whatever they're saying. And
okay.
Whatever they're saying. That was sort of part of the times when I thought, okay, cool, if I'm ever going to get fired from radio.
Yeah, this is the time.
Because I was with Smash and Pindi at that time.
Yeah.
And we used to have another one called
Smash Africa.
Smash Africa,
Nice.
Smash Africa and Pindi on we were doing Drive on Y. And we used to have another one called The Trial of the Incredible Listener. you know. And I used to do. Most people don't know this, but I can do characters. I can do character voices
For real?
now and then. You know, I used to do character voices. I remember doing character voices for other people that were on air. Like for Rude Boy would call me, and then I'll do a character voice. More Flavor would call me, and I'll do a character voice.
Do it for us
his-
now. Do it for us now.
Okay, cool. Let me pick one and see if I can do one for you.
All right. Give me the name so I can give you a nice build up for this one.
All right, cool stuff.
All right, we're
So-
taking you back to Trevor Noah's show. Here we go. This is how you steal a guy's show.
Hey, we used to have Shellington,
Shellington.
Midnight Fix, right? Shellington. All it is like these shows you see on Moja Love now. We did all those things, man.
Yeah,
back in the
yeah.
days.
Yeah.
It's just Ushelana on air. Stuff. And then we used to have a competition or Ushela's better than who. Oh my word.
All right, cool. We're doing the character. Which character are we doing?
All right, we're doing a character called Sven Kovac. So he's a guy from Sweden or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if I can get into character, then we can just talk from here on and I can be Sven until I feel like I want to get out of character.
All right, cool. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for the first time ever on Podcast and Chill, Sven Vladimir Putin, whatever his name is.
Hi, my name is Sven Kovac, and I'm with MacG. What would you like to talk about, MacG?
I would like to talk how much pussy you used to get.
Oh, MacG, if I talk about pussy, we will never leave. It was pussy today, pussy tomorrow. It was pussy every day. I tell you now. And I'm not talking about the cat. I talk real pussy. I tell you now. There was time I'm not supposed to be living after 30. The joke is on me. I should be dead. How much pussy I had. You see, MacG, pussy is a big problem. It's a big problem, especially for younger people in the radio. They call themselves the rocking guys. The rocking guys, they walk around rocking pussy. Pussy will kill you. Pussy will kill you real death. I remember we had a long list of beautiful girls in studio at YFM. I remember you get in and you tick, oh, have you been here? No, this one is not ticked, so I might go here after the show. If you come to the list and the list is ticked, oh, it's bad luck for you today because another man has already. And I'm not talking of the kinds of pussy that you pay for.
Yeah.
You pay for this kinds of pussy by just being behind the mic. How nice is that, MacG?
No. That's fucking dope. Imagine hearing that on radio, dog. I wouldn't even think that's you, bro.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty about radio, state of the mind.
100%. So
Wow.
I used to do that character. So I used to have characters called the doctors, like, you know. I also had like an Afrikaans guy, you know, and I had an English guy as well. Talks like this, you know.
Yeah.
Because like if you're an English guy, you know, you gotta have the accents and you gotta sound a particular way. And the guys will call me. They'll call me on air, and I'll do this.
Yeah.
And it will be. I forgot what his name was, but he had a very interesting name as well. You know, but I forgot what the name was. But I remember the guys calling me on air on YFM.
Yeah.
And I'll pretend I'm this guy from like the UK, and they're calling someone from the UK to talk to them about something happening in the UK, or maybe they're talking about pussy. Who knows? You know? Because those were the times, right?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, you know, sometimes it works, and sometimes, you know, it really doesn't work because you can also go colored with the accent, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had a colored accent as well, and Oaks would call me. You know, Oaks call me on air, and I also sort of like face him with a colored accent, you know.
Yeah.
And no one will know that it's Tholi who's talking. And that's the nice thing about it, you know. Because like you say right now, you know, if you hear me talking like this, you're not gonna know it's Tholi B. So you can call me right now on your radio show, ne?
Yeah.
I'll make your radio show sound nice. Because I can do all these crazy things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, fuck, that's so dope, man.
Yeah, so-
Shit. I wished you more. I used you more, bro. Fuck the machete.
And
Oh man.
I had an Indian accent as well. I had and of course, hey, bachana bami. Niyabona manje nginomaster ubani igama konje uMacG nginoMacG manje. Muchana uyabona lo Tholi bilo okhuluma naye. Hey unkinga lo mfana lo. Hey! Unkinga nkulu ungathi angazi ini. Uyabona lo mfana lo? Ubaqedile le. Nina niyadlala abo ungangitsheli ngabo Mo Flavor nabo MacG. Utholi B. Ubaqedile bonke.
Oh shit.
Hey unenkinga lo mfana.
I don't know, it's too much. It's too much, Tholi. It's too much.
You know,
your voice might be an accent now. Your original voice.
yeah, how about that, right? You know,
That's crazy, man.
but yeah, you see, the thing is, I also think to some extent, I think it's a character thing, a personality thing that I probably need to come out to a lot more, you know, to be able to do more, you know. But those are decisions that you make as a human being. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I actually, you probably have heard all those accents on radio.
Yeah.
You know, especially on Y. You know,
just didn't know.
without knowing, on other people's shows, on my own shows and stuff.
So why do you leave Y? What happens?
No, I got a great opportunity when I left Y. I mean, I was at Y from 2007 to 2013. I got a great opportunity at 94.7. Should I say Highfield Stereo? I went there when it was still Highfield Stereo.
Yeah.
You went there when it was still Highfield Stereo.
I was the first one. The
I
first
found
black
you there.
person they hired.
I found you there, brother.
I opened the floodgates.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
I remember you and I talking at Y. You came to Y. I remember what event was happening there, and I was just asking you about, you know, that side and all that stuff. And you know, the thing with contracts at that time of the year, sort of April to, for some people, to June, July, some establishments. But I had a great opportunity. I was talking to Rav for a couple of months, not a long time, maybe 2 months only. And they were telling me about sort of some of the changes that they might be making and all that kind of stuff. But obviously they're like scouts. They listen around. They know what's happening out there. You know, they know what they want. That's what I really liked about them. Even when I went there, they just came across as people who know what they want. And one day it happened. I had actually signed a contract with Y because I was doing on Route 6. I was doing Drive on Y with Smash and Pindi, the boss lady. And I signed a new contract. But the 94.7 contracts only kicking in July.
Yeah.
And ours were kicking in April, right? So April, May, June, that's 3 months into a contract. And by sort of beginning of June, I had to tell Y that I'm going to have to default on my contract, you know? But that's the thing. That's what you do.
So they didn't pay out your contract?
No, you see, and this is what I'm getting at. It's that maybe it's blessings or maybe it's just who I am and how I've conducted myself to the guys and all that kind of stuff. But YFM actually ended up even throwing a party for me when I left.
Oh, wow. You got a party?
Yeah, brother.
Shit.
At Taboo. Wow. I remember it was at Taboo, yeah. You know, the airtime, they paid for all the airtime and all that stuff and whatnot. We got DJs to play. I'm telling you, you know. But it's that. Like I said, it's...
They paid for my cab home.
That's what happened when you're a nightmare to a program manager versus moi. Come on now.
Yeah.
So I actually went to them and I said, look, I know that I'm in a new contract. It's literally 2 months, but I've got this great opportunity. I remember Kenthan was there and Tumelo was there. I remember Kenthan saying, look, this is a big opportunity for you. If I hold you back, I'm doing you a disservice. Like, I can't hold you back.
Is it really a big opportunity? Because YFM, let's be honest, right, is at the house, the pulse of pop culture. So when you're in Y, you're trending, you're relevant, everything is nice. And then on the other hand, if you go to a 947, it's not really that trendy. So I feel like as a DJ, you go to 947 because you love the art, the art. You love radio. It's not necessarily to be famous and get gigs, because the natural move would be to go from Y to Metro.
100%. So a lot of people would have thought my natural progression is Y to Metro. But just to come back to what you're saying, I never really did it for the fame anyway, you know. But it does come with it. It does help with growing your brand and getting the gigs and all that kind of stuff. And I totally agree with you. But the other thing that I think we're missing is probably that there was a transition happening. The 947 that I joined is not the 947 that's on today. I think 947 is quite funky. I think it's quite trending today. You know, but it took all those steps that, I mean, the previous year they got Anele back from 5FM because he was on 5, right? So these are people who had an idea of what they want to do. They had goals that set strategies together, and the strategies needed, you know what I mean, people like Anele and myself and you.
Oh, so you believed in the vision.
Had 100%. So the vision was much bigger than, you're moving from Y to 947, you know?
Be playing Celine Dion.
But yeah, so there was a transition happening. I wanted the challenge as well. Let's not kid ourselves. I was also either 30 or going towards 30 already.
Oh, is it?
So, you know, you think,
Shit.
yeah, this is 2013, brother. That's
Damn,
quite a
bro.
long time ago, you know? So you also think, oh, cool. So how many more years? I actually was 30 already. So how many more years do I have at Y as a youth station, right? Because there's a certain thing or a certain way in which strategies differ, right? If you look at 947, which by pedigree has always been sort of a family station and all that kind of stuff, and then there was a plan to get more youngsters listening, and
Get the black audience as well.
and get the black audience as well, and a YFM that's youth throughout. You know, at some point, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that you're not a great broadcaster anymore. But you don't want to overstay, you know? And I also...
Tell that to Uncle Deb and Sabi.
No, what I liked is, I mean, Sabi is young. Sabi is not even 30 yet, is he?
Oh, he's in the 30s, dog.
Really?
They've been there since we were there.
But I think that they've got a different strategy because other than Mo Flavor, right? Who was on break for, I think, 4 years. Could have been 3 or 4 years. Any other time, that lineup would change every 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Every year, every 2 years.
Yeah.
That lineup is changing. It's changing every 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think there's something that has to do with some sort of consistency that they're holding on to now, right? I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but it needs balance, and it, you know what I mean? As you said, I mean, some of the people can be there forever. But I think there was a conscious decision to say, let's go for a little bit more consistency and keep the people there for a little bit longer, right? I didn't think the guys were too old. I don't think they're older than you.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah.
You lie. Mama, just
same.
because you got a baby face doesn't mean everyone's older than you. Mac.
Yeah. So you move into 947, different environment, but I think the kind of radio, like I alluded to in the beginning, is safe. You know, it can live anyway. Because as a program manager, if I hire you, I know what I'm going to get. So was it an easy fit for you?
It wasn't very easy. Also because like I think I battled with, because when I was on Y, I could, obviously predominantly you'd present in English, right? But I mean, then I chama Chivenda Muyani, you know, I speak in Chivenda, Zulu, Sutu, Twentenang, whatever I feel like saying. Twentenang, you know?
Yeah, we forgot about that one.
So whatever came to my mind or whatever new trend, I want, Elinye. Oh yeah, we forgot about that as well, you know? And the future, I mean, your future is an English thing, but you know.
The future was you.
That was me. I started that, you know. And this is something that I just had with my small clique of friends and
Everything
all that kind
was
of
the
stuff,
future.
You know? Yeah, it's true. It's true, the boy.
Oh, this is so nostalgic, man.
So from a language point of view, I battled with trying to understand how much of that can be done, right? And I think sometimes even managers they want you to still be yourself, but there are certain things that you can't do, obviously, because of the format of the station. So I must commend them for always saying to me, we actually want you to be yourself. So we don't want you to be the 947 or the high full stereo Tholi. We want you to be Tholi B just on this platform, right? But as I said, there are a lot of things that you still can't do. You know, I mean, if I were to go and speak in Chivenda, I mean, it's and I actually did it. I would say to myself, oh, Chief,
Hey, Not even.
I'm telling you, I did all those things, because that's who I was, right?
Yeah.
But you're also limited. But you have to know why you're limited and the reasons you're limited. You cannot. There's no ways that you can expect to go on Ukhozi FM, Thobela, YFM, and Metro FM and do your radio exactly the same way you do it, because language comes in. And I think the biggest thing is language more than personality and character, right? One of the biggest things was, as I was talking about sort of a transition earlier on, is also the ears, right? The ear that's listening to you, a traditional high-field stereo ear, hearing what they think there's too many black voices coming in. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and I mean, I used to sit with management all the time, and they'd say, you know what, Tholi, like, we are a cosmopolitan city. We are a cosmopolitan radio station. Our kids go to the same schools. They go party at the same places. Before you know it, they are dancing at the same concerts and whatever the case is. And who's the mirror for all of that from a media point of view? If you think about it, no one was really, right? It's either you're Afropolitan or you're a young urban only black or you're whatnot. You get what I'm trying to say?
Dude, it was the biggest mindfuck for me. I get a call from a guy in Benoni. Hey, Mike, please play that AC/DC Thunderstruck there.
Yeah. Thunder!
And the next call is, hey, boy, Ukraine. And telefonicate la, boy.
I know, right?
Fuck, who am I talking to?
But isn't that the
beauty?
That's the beauty of it, right? But
it mirrors the Rainbow Nation.
100%. So that's exactly what it does, right? It's a cosmopolitan city, the most diverse province in the whole country, I must say. Gauteng. So if you find yourself here, there's a lot more work you have to put in, right? It's not an easy thing to do. That's why it takes a long time to do, right? And you will get racists who will either send you an SMS or WhatsApp or whatever the case is. You have to have thick skin, and you have to go back to the drawing board, go back to your managers and say, look, I'm getting this and this and this and this. Should I be worried? Like, are you guys losing? Yeah, no, are you losing your listeners because there's this vendor guy now, or the same, or another vendor because there was your ass there, So now there's this other guy, the funniest one was talking about being black on 947, right? And it's and this is like things that people don't talk about, and we try to shy away from and all the kind of stuff, but we shouldn't, because ultimately you'll find that the management and everyone who got you there, you're on the same page with them, right? And over a long period of time, a lot of the people listening as well can't run away because the corner's becoming smaller and smaller for them, right? They just have to go with what's happening. And if you shy away from doing it, then you're giving them more room, you know what I mean, to dictate what should happen, right? Which you shouldn't give them more room to dictate what happened. I mean, I used to have, I've had some bad racist stuff, right? But this is from listeners, not from colleagues.
I never got any racist stuff, eh?
Yeah, but I mean, you got a nice accent.
Yeah, I thought I was white.
Little C kid, and that's the thing, and so I'm from partly from the advertising background, where when they sort of describing the type of voiceover they want, let's say, and they want a neutral guy, this and that. If it's something that they want, like for the Eastern Cape, English but Xhosa accent, whatever, because we all talk differently. We all have different dialects and different accents and all that kind of stuff. I remember a white lady saying, I've heard enough of this Tholi big guy and his uncomfortable accent. Yeah, so the word was, I mean, I could tell that she probably wanted to say something worse, but the only thing that came was uncomfortable accent. So I sat there and I thought, so your Afrikaans accent is not uncomfortable to me, but my accent is uncomfortable to you, and I must now lose my job because I've got some sort of an uncomfortable accent that should not be of Highfield standards or whatever the case is. We go to the Rams, and we check the numbers are looking good. If you look at what the station has done and what the station was trying to do, the station was achieving what it wanted to do.
And you took over Pabi.
Yes, I took over Pabi. And that's smooth, bro.
Yeah, jeez.
It went from smooth to vendor. Dimasiari. Dimasiari watu wa Highfield Stereo roswika zvino. Vavenda voswika zvino.
Ndorinyera,
You know?
but- So I wanted to say that on my last show.
Is it? With Google Translate, man. So that's the thing, right? But the other thing about it is, if you really truly want to capture a cosmopolitan audience, you gotta be inclusive. You get what I'm trying to say? You need to be inclusive. Demographically, you have to mirror that.
But why do you leave? Because it sounds to me like you're enjoying the challenge, right? Getting paid, you're getting paid.
Look, those things I'm talking about were literally maybe in the first 6 months, you know. That's what I'm saying, they get used to you. And then all of a sudden they go to the Rams and they're like, oh yeah, cool. By the way, we're seeing that your biggest fans are white females between 35 and 40. I'm like, I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then young black males between, as you were saying right now, you get a call from somewhere and you get a call from Soweto, you get a call from Brakpan. It's just mind-boggling, but it's great. That's what you want to do, isn't
So
it?
why do you leave? Because I mean, I was working midnight and weekends, and I was getting paid quite handsomely.
You were getting paid good money,
and
right?
I can imagine daytime. Hey, and let's not forget the profit share as well. First time I knew about profit share was at Prime Media.
Was
I
it Prime Media?
What the fuck is that?
No, and what I liked about them was they were transparent.
Yeah.
Those big meetings where they're telling you, we made this much and what and what not, and you're thinking, maize, you know. So it was good. The money was good. I'm not gonna lie. And after, as I said, I mean, after the sort of the storm, the baptism of the racism and all that stuff, not a lot, but it was significant enough to take note of, you know, and to always go back to managers to say, are we
But
good?
why do you leave? Why you leave? You got a good gig, bro. Daytime?
No, it was a great gig, but I needed to grow.
Okay.
I needed to grow, brother. I've always been, and I mean, you'd know even from why, I've always been the guy who's going to bother the programs manager. You know what I mean? If there's someone new at Y at 947 that come and say, oh yeah, you know what, Tholi will show you the desk or whatever. You know, this happened to me all the time. So there must be something I had in me.
So when you say growth, are you saying you want drive time, breakfast, and it wasn't coming?
Not really. I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, that was going to come. I mean, we had a 2-year plan. In fact, also I left after signing a new contract.
Shit. Were you going to get drive time?
Not that year. So we had a 2-year plan. It wasn't drive said, but it was to say, look, here's what we're looking at. Let's give you a 2-year contract, but we've got big plans for you.
Fuck.
Right?
Jeez, I would have pissed my pants. They never said that to me in all the 6 years.
How long were your contract? 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. 3 months.
We've got big plans.
Yeah. So and a 2-year contract gives you cushion because most people
You had a
get
2-year contract?
Yeah. I had a.
I feel like we're working at different stations.
I mean, when you're Tholi B, all right? No, man. So I had
When I went to my meetings, I was like, hey, as Sean,
maybe, you know. Yeah, we'll call you back. But no, but I wanted growth. So it wasn't so much that because I knew that there were plans for me there, right? And by that time I was comfortable. So, you know, there were no demons anymore, but also in my skin and in understanding more of what the strategy is and what they want to achieve. And it's such a beautiful thing when you understand what this radio station wants to achieve or whoever you're working for, when you know the brand positioning, the brand strategies and how you fit into the strategy, right? When you know those goals, it's such a great thing to understand and a great place to be in. So anyway, I left because I wanted the growth beyond the mic. Right.
So Given comes calling now.
100%. Now I called him actually.
You called Given?
Yeah. So I remember sending him an SMS, right?
Given Mkari, by the way, who owns...
Mr. Given Mkari owns MSG Group, which is
Capricorn.
MSG Africa Group, Capricorn Power 90.7, 1EC, Beat FM. Yeah. So
you hit him up?
Yeah. So I hit him up and on SMS, right? And he's like, okay, cool. Let's chat. I'm like, oh, give him courage. Just say legit. I mean, I sent this thing 5 minutes ago. I'm expecting he'll come back in 2 weeks' time or whatever.
And this is while you still had it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just wanted to find out, oh, cool, what can I do? What can be done? I mean, I love Capricorn FM. Every time I went home, I must be honest, I only used to stream or to go on DSTV now and then. But when I'm home, I used to listen to it all the time, right? And I went there, and he said, okay, cool. I saw your SMS. I see you're interested in sort of adding value to what we do, because I'm thinking this is a group. You know what I mean? They've got a couple of radio stations under them. At the time, it's only 2, but the other 2 are also coming. So, anything can happen.
And you have no aspirations to be on air. You're not telling him, I want to be on air.
No. I'm not saying I want to be on air at all. Listen, I'm on air, but that conversation had nothing to do with on air. It had to do with me being a radio executive, right? He calls Andy Lekumalo. Andy Lekumalo used to be his business partner. And they come in, there's a guy called Pete Radari, great guy as well. He actually also is the one who said to give him, no, but you must give this guy a call. I trust this guy, So I go there, and they start grilling. They're grilling you without grilling you, but they're just trying to figure out, it's not really like an interview per se, but you're just having a chat, just trying to figure out, where's this guy's head? Where's his mind at? Can he actually do the things he says he can do, And when it's in you, and when it's destined for you, and when you're ready for it, even when you're just cheating and having a chat with someone, the right things come out. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think that if I was not ready for that, or if I was just doing it because I wanted to run away from something, or whatever the case is,
or when does that happen? Because till this day, in all my broadcasting life, I've never ever thought about being a station manager. Like that's not me.
Yeah, but we're different as well. You know what I mean? People are different. I think I know a lot of people who will never do it, But also it doesn't mean that because you've been on air, you'll be great as a station manager or any other kind of
That's like playing soccer
executive.
and you think you're going to be a great manager.
Yeah, you can be a great coach,
Yeah.
That's because you played soccer. So I knew I had it in me. So I love working with talent, right? I love paying attention to detail as well. And there was a time when I thought that we're not doing enough on radio. And I think the enough for me came, or at least I thought that the more we invest in the talent that's coming through and the kind of content they must do and how they should execute the content, the better of radio will be, right? I don't necessarily think that's what we're doing. So that's what I wanted to do. And I went there to say, I want to be in management. This is what I want to do. And it took 2-3 weeks. And then I'm like, but I'm in a new contract this side. And it's July, it's starting, I'm signing. He's like, no, don't sign. I'm like, what you talk about? He just calls me this one time. I'm chilling and he says, hey, Makwabo, I got something for you. Station management. I'm like, hey, that's not bad. So I went there and I did it. And I'd like to think, once again, you got to believe in yourself, you know what I mean? I really would like to think I did a great job, mostly also because the numbers spoke, And I'm not just talking about listening numbers. I'm talking about when you're station manager, there's so many touch points, from the marketing point of view, the sales point of view, the client service point of view. Like literally the whole business revolves around you, And I think that we did amazing things there. I was there for 3.5 years at Capricorn FM as a station manager. I think we did amazing things. I went there and I changed things from the beginning, from sort of day one, hit the ground running. There's no time to waste, The good thing about it as well is the people that I met there or that I found at the station, most of them were already willing to do something new. Most of them were willing to be led in a different way because I came with sort of different ideas, Everything I learned at Y, everything I learned at Prime Media as well. No, it's not a Prime Media party. There's no profit share there,
But the money is better.
The money was good. I mean, I when I moved from 947 to be station manager of Capricorn FM, I actually got double my salary.
Shit.
Shit. Because that's what you do. You got to negotiate well.
Fuck.
But also you got to realize the kind of position you're going to be doing, right?
Fuck
and
totally.
What comes with it, So the money was good. But it was, and I know it's a cliche and people might think, oh, whatever, but it wasn't really about the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It actually, for me, was not even really about the money. I didn't even know what to do with it half the time. I'm not even like
flamboyant guy. I'm not going to go and do this, that, and the other and buy things I don't need and all that kind of stuff, you know. So we did great things. The people there, there's so much talent. That's the thing, though. And you think the talent is in Gauteng or just in Joburg, but yes, it's everywhere. Hey? There's so much talent there. First thing I did when I went there, put together a client solutions team, like head of content and digital and this, that, and whatever. A couple of people will ask, what is he doing now? You know, but most people will get it or will be receptive and they want to understand more and they want to do more, right? And before you know it, within a couple of months, people are understanding. And all of a sudden, everyone is just bringing it. And you see the talent from everyone. You see everyone chipping in and wanting to do more and wanting to do things differently because that's what it's all about. If you think about it, 2016, our industry was also going through a big transition. This is a transition that a lot of sort of the, formerly white radio stations have been doing for quite a long time. And we got into it. And if you think of a commercial radio station, like a Capricorn FM, a lot of people are so much concerned or they're over-concentrated on, how many people are listening to you? And I used to say, you used to have 1.5 million listeners, right? And you got 420,000 listeners. How much money did you make when you had the 1.5 million listeners? Like, let's talk. Bring your books and let me show you my books. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're a commercial radio station. Like, that's the reason why 947 will make more money than Ukhozi FM.
Yeah, which has 6 million listeners.
Do you get where I'm going, right?
Spending power.
100%. But it comes with great thinking, with great positioning, with great strategy, but it comes with a great team. And I think I got a great team that side that understood. But also, I must say, the province is fertile for that kind of stuff. They are futuristic. I mean, that's why...
You can't be using words like fertile on this podcast. Willy-nilly like that.
But yeah, the
province
is... that's why we even coined sort of our positioning was progressive. You know what I mean? I coined that myself. I sat and I wrote the strategy and the brand positioning.
Limpopo's hottest frequency.
No. Limpopo's hottest frequency was already there, but from brand positioning was progressive Limpopo and a progressive radio station for progressive province and all that kind of stuff. So we started working around those phrases, which caught so much fire because...
But wait, let's go back. Go back. Sorry. Finish what you're saying.
No. I was done, which caught so much fire because right now it's still being used and I think it will be for many, many years because people really believe that they are progressive, you know?
Yeah. Cool. I want to go back. 10 years, 6 years, I don't know how long you're in radio for. You are the talent. So now you have to step into the shoes where now you are managing people, right? And not just any people, like people's families depend on this. How do you change the mind frame from being a talent to now a station manager? Because so many people depend on you. And that's a different ball game, you know?
100%.
It's like being an artist and then owning your own label.
It's even worse. Also you're dealing with talent. Talent is a problem to deal with. Now you got MacG.
So you understand, no wonder they fired this guy.
Now the head of sales is on you. Now the head of finance is like, hey, chief, this is not moving. Head of marketing like, shall we do this or not? And then the people are like, that guy is boring. Please tell your programs manager to take that guy out. But as I said, like I think everything that I used there, I had accumulated over the years. And it's not a thing that you start doing only when you assume the role, right? I think I'd prepared myself so much when I was still my latter years at YFM and when I was at 947, I'd really prepared myself for something like that, you know? And by the time I went there, I'd already written down the brand positioning and the strategy. I sat with the board and we understood what needed to be done.
You're chilling with the board, my nigga. From gigging with Oskido.
Chilling with the board, right?
Yeah.
Although Oskido is a board by itself.
True.
But yeah, it's when...
So there's no switch?
When talent... No, for me, there wasn't like a switch on one day. I think it's sort of when your talent sort of, and your gift becomes a purpose of some sort, and you realize that every single bit of information I've been accumulating so far has led me to this, and I actually understand more than I even know that I understand, right? You're always learning, by the way. I mean, you'll never
know everything. You're always learning. But when I got there, I did amazing things, and there wasn't one specific day where there was a switch that happened. I had prepared myself all those years to do it. But like you said, there's some people who will be on radio for 50, 60 years without thinking of going to management, and it's fine as well. Like, you don't have to be in management, you know what I mean? Then there are people like me who think, oh, it'd be so cool to even own your own radio station. Yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
You told me that the 3 years at Capricorn was the best 3 years of your life.
It was certainly some of the best 3 years of my life, man, because I think as far as growth is concerned, I grew there more than any other time. But a lot of introspection as well. I got to study a lot. I got to see my mom quite a lot because I'm closer to home, and it's a big thing for me. Family is a big thing for me. But more than Ndiva Amucha. I was born in Chakuma Chamadziwandira.
Yeah.
TTM.
Enda.
Yeah. I was born in Chakuma. But Chakuma is like the first village as you get in. Once you've gone through Makado and then you drive through the first village, the big market.
Oh.
Apala market. That's Chakuma. Oh, Nivanjarere. Azibari. No, man. Where would the fun be, right?
Yeah.
No, man. So yeah, in this Ramusha. So they're all there, so I could see them. But more than anything else, brother, like, you know, working with people, you know, like when you're content, when you're happy. When you're happy, brother, nothing else matters, eh? You know, when you're happy, when you're content, when your life comes first, when you even if, no matter how busy you are, you still have just time to do other things because your mind is clear, you know what I mean? And you're happy with what you're doing, you know? And people think Limpopo is slow. It is not slow. Like, there's a lot happening there. Yeah. It's the fastest growing, I'd like to think, and developing province.
So much money.
There's so much happening there. I mean, after the big three, which is sort of Gauteng and KZN and Western Cape, I'll think Limpopo comes next. I mean, the tourism is on another level. There's just so many things that are going right?
Did you hire Hudisani Ravere?
I did. I hired Hudisani Ravere.
Thanks for hiring me. I sent you a fucking demo, you motherfucker.
Ah, fucker, I said you must bring this thing on air. We were talking. This guy. So anyway, we must actually talk about that. So this one, I've always told him two things for now. You are so good. I need you to hear this. And I know people have told you this. You are really amazing behind the mic. Like, you know, you're just such a natural, you know? And I wanted you to come through to Capricorn FM when I was there. I even spoke to the programs manager and everyone there. And we got talking. We even spoke of the podcast. This podcast.
Before it was as big as it is now.
Before it was big, we spoke about this podcast. But how can we do it? You know, we can't have it for the whole hour because, hey, this guy is swearing half the time there. And they're saying things that, you know, on radio, you know, you can't just put them in. So do we give him a show and it still has a podcast, or do we edit the podcast in a certain way? We spoke about this and we said maybe we could edit the podcast in a certain way that, and then you know what I'm trying to say is like so when I brought Hudi, I actually wanted to bring you too.
Yeah. She's a vibe, bro.
No, she's such a vibe, man. She's absolutely amazing. But here's the thing: the cool thing about it is we have because we sister stations with Power 98.7. Some of the guys can do the shows from Power.
Oh, I remember you asked me to shadow her at Power.
Did you pitch up?
Yes, I did. And I got her the gig at 947.
Oh, you had it. Oh, yeah. And but on the you did pitch up, and then you had a gig on that. It was a Saturday.
Yes.
When you came here, she was doing the Saturday show.
Yeah.
I remember that. You also spoke to the guys at 947 because she actually is great.
Yeah. So I met her that time at Power, and she's like, "Yo, I want to leave and whatever. How's it there at 947?"
That's not good for me to hear. No.
And she's like, "How's it there at 947?" I'm like, it's great. Speak to this person, and I gave her the number, and you know, here we are.
No, we did, and for me, Huli is like a good example of sort of someone who has a lot of following on social media, but is also a great broadcaster.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's not like this pendulum is not like
leaning on
And you know
one
what she
side
said?
or
She
whatever
said to
the
me
case
that
is, you
day
know.
that she wanted people to hire her for a radio gig,
100.
not because of her following, but because of the product. So she was like, I've been working on my product at Capricorn, and I feel like I'm ready to explore other opportunities.
No, she had a great team to work with there.
Yeah.
No.
I first heard her on Euphonics show at 5FM.
Five.
Fuck, this girl sounds good.
Yeah. I was back in the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Is she the one that got away?
Huh? No.
All right, cool. We're going to play a game right now, ne?
All right.
Before we play the game, why did you leave Capricorn? Because he sounded so happy.
Oh yeah, no, cool. So anyway, so I came to head office. So as we said, MSG, they own both Power 98.7 and Capricorn FM. So I came to be head of creative for MSG Group Sales, which sits here at Powerhouse in Houghton. So yeah, I came to the group, and obviously there were other plans with other stations that were going to be opening up. So that's pretty much why I came here after about just over 3 years or so. Yeah.
Well, I never understood why you were still a station manager but had a show at Capricorn on weekends.
So in the beginning I did, which I did for some time, and then I let go of it, right? And it was just the urge,
The bug.
Sometimes, the bug.
You got to scratch it.
But also, you also realize that, you know what? The station manager, when he goes on air, he starts making mistakes there. Then he must sit with the people and say, you see, don't make mistakes,
You must do your own air checks.
Yeah. But I must say that there is something about being some kind of a role model or some kind of a person that people might look up to and think, oh, cool, that's actually is being done very good, right? The trick, everybody makes mistakes. I don't care how many years you've been on radio, right? The trick is to lend it more times than not. Just lend it more times than you're not lending it, and you'll be fine. So yeah, those things will happen. But yeah, for some time I was on air on weekends as well.
Greatest advice I got was from AK MacG. It's like, you must do each show like it's your last.
100%.
Yeah. Because one day it will be.
Yeah, jeez. Although I've never been fired from a radio station.
All right, cool. Here's the game. It's called One Must Go. I'm going to give you two radio personalities. You must tell me which one must go.
I'm not going to give reasons.
No, you don't have
Just
to
because you're going, it could be because you're my favorite that you must go, because you mustn't be part of this whole thing.
No, if you are going, it means you're trash.
All right, is it?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Wear your station manager's hat.
What if you give me two people that are so good?
You got to choose one. One must go.
Choose one.
Here we go.
Cool, let's go.
Dineo and Anele.
So I'm saying the one who must go.
Yeah.
Okay.
One must go.
You didn't say which Dineo, but Dineo must go.
Dineo Rana.
You didn't say which Dineo. It's fine, let's go. Just there are so many Dineos. I've already chosen. You see, you got loopholes. You got loopholes, dog.
Hey, you and your fucking radio mind.
Loopholes.
All right, next one. Ankle tap DJ Sabby.
DJ Sabby.
Must go. Why?
We said we're not going to give reasons.
But for the sake of the podcast.
I actually think that Ankle Tap is a little bit more dynamic. A lot of people didn't even know he was white. He is white.
He was white.
So I think he's got a little bit more dynamic. And I also think that perhaps the opportunity of being on breakfast sort of sets him a little bit apart from someone who's on drive. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm a big fan of both of them.
You know, I got him the gig at
If I were to choose one, yeah?
You know, I got him the gig at White.
Ankle Tap.
Yeah. I was driving to the East End in the morning. And then I turned on UJFM. Because I like to listen to like UJFM, Vets, or whatever stations. Apart from the commercial stations. Because, commercial is very corporate. And I feel like when you listen to those stations, you get like people that are hungry and it's free and whatever. So I'm listening to this guy. I'm like, fuck, this guy is good. And I called Dumelo. I'm like, yo, Dumelo, please listen to UJFM. There's a guy called Ankle Tap. Check him out.
Did you know he was white?
No, I didn't know he was white. And then they hired him and he took my show.
That's why he must stay. Did the world some justice here.
All right, cool. Next one. Gareth Cliff, Roger Good.
Oh, Gareth Cliff.
Must go. Gareth. Why?
I just love Roger Good is also very close to
ankle tap in a way. They've got this
Both
energy. They've got this energy that's going on. I just love, and you know what the thing is, like that's why this is so tough. But also, I like people who do the kind of radio that I sort of can't do as well. Like I'm so drawn to that, right? So that maybe that's why even with Sebi, I was like, okay, this I can do. You know, I want something else that I can't do.
Fuck, how good is Roger?
So Roger Good, he just does these crazy things where you sit and you're like, what just happened there? You know what I mean? So it's not like a normal thing that would just happen any other day, right?
You know what Roger's like?
Yeah,
continue.
And also like to think that he's just also, okay, by virtue of the fact that he does the things he does, you know that he spends so much time preparing and making the thing, because he makes radio. And there's things that he was pre-recorded and then he edits them right there and then, and he does this and he does different voices and all this stuff and whatever the case is. So I actually just like that about him and that is different, you know. It's like if you were to ask me about anyone who does the kind of radio that I do and I'd go with you because you are different and you do other things that I can't do, you know.
Yeah. Dude, the thing is, what I wanted to say about Roger Good is like, you know, with DJing, there's DJs, there's a DJ's DJ. But the public don't get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, for example, DJ China, Claude, Christos, like on the decks, fire. But the public will go for Maporisa or whatever because he's the one who's popping. But all the DJs will be like, that's the guy. And I feel like that with Roger Good. If you're a Radiohead, you listen to that and you're like,
and you
what
think
the
yourself,
fuck is he
how
doing?
the fuck did he do that?
But if you're a listener, you're like, hey, this is noise. What's going on here? You know what I mean?
No, 100%. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
You know? It's
He's
exactly
fucking
that.
crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, no, he's crazy with it.
All right, next one. Bad Boy 2, Rude Boy Paul.
Rude Boy Paul.
Must go.
I'm a big Bad Boy T fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was growing up, he actually was my favorite YFM DJ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Bad Boy T, Lee and Sons.
Harambe.
Yeah, man. So Bad Boy was and I've told him this, you know, when I was growing up, because those guys were there since 97 or whatever the case, 98 or whatever, you know. But then they got, you know, they got more established obviously over the years and stuff. And I've told him this, like he's of that generation, YFM DJs is always been
He
sort
had
of my
swag,
favorite.
bro.
Nah?
He had swag.
Smooth,
He just
ain't he?
wanted to be like him.
Nah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like Thomas so much. I like Bad Boy T.
Yeah. no,
Thomas, you can check. He's just getting the check. He's paying bills. These kids gotta eat.
Oh, the kid ain't bad no more.
You know what I mean?
No, man.
All right, cool. Last one. Tando Taburi versus Pearl Mudiadi.
Pearl.
Let's go.
Tando is a serious broadcaster, bro. And Tando is like, for me, it's also because maybe I haven't had Pearl by herself, you know. She's a great co-host, I must admit. But Tando is like a Hori Sani on steroids. So she's also another. I got a great following on social media. I am, you know what I mean, absolutely amazing.
But I can back it up.
But I'm a freaking awesome broadcaster. You know what I'm trying to say? So she has that. I mean, even a drive time show on Why, the Tabooty.
She did Drive It Why?
Sorry, man, on five.
Yeah.
Sorry. Technically, and I don't know if she was running the desk herself or she couldn't have been or whatever the case is.
Crisp.
And these are the small things that we pick up on, right? Technically, it was just so... You know, like when soccer people talk about, technically, you know, Rulani Mukwena is better than Mangoba. You know? This is what I'm talking about. It's these things that you hear and you're like, shucks, this girl, you know what I mean? Like, how is she even doing all of this? You know, I've been on radio and I can't do this, you know? So it's that. So... I think she does sort of edges.
I heard you smashed there. Did you smash there?
Smash isn't like, she's still alive. I mean, if I smashed her, come on now. Sip.
I heard you were in that booty.
No. I also heard that rumor. It was in the newspapers as well.
Was it?
At some point, yeah,
Did you
man.
make it in the newspaper? I asked her when I interviewed her. She brushed it aside.
Is it? No, we brushed it.
We brushed it.
No, I'm saying I'm also brushing it aside.
Fucking thing of yours.
No, I'm saying I'm also brushing it aside.
Yeah.
So we both brushing it. No. I also heard that rumor. That was actually on the newspapers at some point. And like, that was like the first time I was in the newspaper. Because I mean, come on, it's totally, I never do anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that story being in the newspapers and stuff. I remember people calling me and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we were at I forgot what the event was called, a YFM event. Where
Parade.
There was the king that day and whatever the case is, and it was at Park Station. It was a massive event, and then that weekend, I got people from the newspapers saying, you were seen living with Tando Tabete. And I'm like, oh, which one is Tando again?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we didn't.
But if you did, would you guys say it though?
I wonder. What do you think?
My thing is, I don't know why everybody knows you guys did it. I don't know why you just don't
Everybody
come out
knows
with
what?
it. That you guys did it. It was like everybody knows.
Who's everybody that knows that we did it?
I know.
How do you know? Tell us more.
I was there. I mean,
Hold on, where were we? Where did we do it?
I don't know, Chief. But I'm saying,
Come on,
like,
you know what? There's been so many. I mean, I can't. No, just kidding.
but my thing is, if you did, it was in the past. It happened.
Yeah, no. If we did and it wasn't a past and happened, I would say we did.
Oh, okay.
I would say, yeah, no. I certainly would.
What's your thing with ladies, man? Because I've never heard you like tell me about like someone that you are serious with. You don't have a kid. Like, what's going on there?
A lot's going on. I'll tell you. I'll give you an anecdote, right? It's fucking hilarious. So this one time, my family, so from my father's side, it's quite a big family, right?
Yeah.
So there's an old phone that I have. I give it to one of my brothers. I buy a new phone, and this one time they call me in. I go for a braai, and they ask me the ultimate question.
Yes.
They asked me. They said, brother. As you say, we've never. I mean, you don't talk about girls. We've never, we don't see you. We don't, And the guys went out and said, "Are you gay?"
Your family?
Yeah, dog. My famo. Asking, "Are you gay?" And then my brother who had the phone, King, we call him King.
Yeah.
He says, "No, I went through your phone." And I know you ain't gay. I was like, dude, you better delete everything on that phone. But you give someone a phone, and you forgot that there's stuff in there. But it's like, no, guys, hold on, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with being gay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, right. Who sharp?
He will tell us when he's ready to tell us who the girl is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love keeping my stuff private, that kind of stuff. It's not a big deal. If I walk with my girlfriend here and you see it, it's not a.
So
I'm not gonna die. You know what I mean?
You've got a girlfriend?
Yeah, I do.
Have you had someone that you've been like seriously?
100%.
Since I've known you, I've never seen you with.
You've never with a serious. Yeah, no, 100%. I have. I have had girlfriends before, but as I said, it's never really been a thing public or to parade them, or whatever the case is. But I do, and she did say to me before I came here, or MacG is gonna expose you. When you come back here, we're gonna talk about all the girls you've had.
But I haven't spoken to Tando in a while. Why is she saying that?
You said all the girls, brother. But yeah, that stuff is kept private, confidential.
So you do have a girlfriend right now? You're serious?
100%.
Wow. How long you
Very
guys been
serious.
together?
4 years.
4 years. Shit. She's been through the profit share, through the gift.
Everything, through the station manager, through everything, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this the one?
Certainly, yeah.
No. And kids? Are you into kids or you just?
No. I mean, yeah, certainly am. And when the time is right, kids come from God, we believe that.
Oh, you got kids that you don't know of?
This is very possible. No, it's not possible. It's weird, man. And I get this all the time. Like, how did you, and it could as well be, but I mean, I don't think so at all, because I've always, and you know that there are chances that you can still birth a child, even if you have sex with a condom and all those things.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that can't happen, but I'd like to think that if I have birthed a child, I would have known by now.
I don't think that I have.
Do you plan on having one?
100%. Yeah, no, I do.
So you're working on it?
I'd say like we are working on it. But yeah, certainly. I mean, if it happens, it happens.
It's a blessing, man.
It is a blessing. It is a
And
blessing.
I think you'd be a great father, man.
You reckon, brother?
Yeah, you're a great broadcaster, great station manager. Why not?
No, yeah. I think I'll be an awesome father too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see what the Lord has.
All right, cool. Tholi B, we didn't speak about the TV stuff. Bakae, quickly tell us how that came about. Bakae, big show. SABC One. You got like 3-4 million eyes on you every Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
I forgot the day that it aired, but 2009, 2010 as well.
That takes you to another level. When
Massive,
you're on SABC.
SABC One, massive show, and we did well there. I mean, we used to sit with great icons, you know what I mean, of South African television and entertainment, and the show needed someone who would be able to sort of have a conversation with them, a decent conversation with them, but also deliver that to a broad audience, whether young or old, the people just want to reminisce or someone want to catch up.
How do you get that gig? Do you hit them up as well?
No. They actually hit me up.
Oh,
I went to auditions for that.
Oh, shit.
I went to auditions for that. I
What did you
remember
audition with?
sitting there and I'm like, I saw some of the people that were auditioning. I don't remember their names, but I mean, it's people that are actors and whatnot. And all like,
You're like, I'm not getting this.
I'm not going to get this.
Yeah.
But I actually did well. I did well with that. I learned isiZulu quite a lot because it's SABC One. I mean, I can speak it, but I had to truly work on the accent and all that kind of stuff and the wording and whatnot. Also because I take my craft very seriously.
Yeah.
A lot of actors do this, you know what I mean? When they need to learn an accent or a new language or whatever the case is. I actually did that with Bakae because I took it that seriously, and I actually had a coach who was a friend of mine, Umenzi Gandaba, who actually used to be with me in studio when we're delivering the voiceovers, who would be there in sets sometimes. Because I actually wanted to do it right.
For real?
Yeah, 100%. I think you should do it right. I think there's obviously room when you're on radio to sort of speak whatever. I mean, the language in whatever way you want to do it because it's sort of diluted in Joburg. But an SABC One, Bakae, prime time. You know what I mean? You want to do it right. You know what I mean? Just like if you are Tonga and you're doing a Chivenda show on SABC 2, I'd like to think that you want to give it that extra effort, to make sure you deliver it right, because you could be the right person to deliver it. But if the language fails, there are some people who'll sit back and think, why this guy or whatever the case is, So I had to work on that. I actually felt like I was one of those actors that are putting in all this extra work to make sure that comes across well. But it actually did, because it was, a 39 episode. that ran for forever, That's quite a long time.
And why did you leave?
No, the show went to SABC 2, I think. And with SABC 2, if they wanted to deliver it in sort of Chivenda or Xitsonga, I probably would have still gone for that.
Yeah.
But I think they wanted, it's a whole different language and a whole different
platform.
platform and all that stuff. And I think Tsepo ended up doing the show, which he also did a good job as well. But it served its purpose for that market, and mine served a purpose for a different market. But massive show.
All right, 2020, we are here now. We've got a brand new single, Lala. Ngwe Jivenda, which I love.
Yeah, man.
And the kind with a piano track in Jivenda, man.
You must do it, brother. Let's do it.
I want to do it, man.
You must do it.
Yeah.
Lala Love. It talks about love. Utando, Rufuno. It features...
Ulamzana Ngwe Jivenda, nomgudisa kana.
Endo, no, Ndimvenda. Yeah, Ndimvenda. So Endo sings on the song.
Did you buy the beat or make the beat?
No. Okay, cool. So that's the thing with me. So we've got 5 songs. I actually wrote the music as well and co-produced. The composition was done by Big Robza, who's also sort of the producer of the music.
So
but we
didn't
do
buy
it together. No, I didn't buy the music.
So you are on the Fruity Loops.
But he does it, and I will lead from a production point of view and the strategy of what I'd like on the music based on melody. It's not buying music.
Can you play the keys?
I used to produce. And I must tell you guys this. When I was rapping with Ozone, when I was producing for NK, when I was producing for Uncle Phineas, when I was working with Schluter, when we had Empire Records, I used to produce the music.
Empire Records?
Yeah, I used to press. That's what I do. That's what I studied, brother. That's what I studied at school. So I used to produce the keys, the whatnot. I used to play myself on Fruity Loops and Reason and all these things. That's what I used to do,
So it's sort of coming back now. But when you have other people who can do it as well,
And
you
better.
give good direction. What I didn't do was to go and say, you guys do a song, I'll come and listen to your songs and I'll buy one song. No, I didn't do that. I actually wrote the song myself. And she co-wrote the song with me, you know. And even from the production point of view, everything has to go through me because I want it in a certain
it's
way.
flying
you know?
now. It's flying.
It's flying. The song is flying, man. We are getting requests in Zimbabwe as well, in Lesotho, Botswana, all over South Africa. Radio stations only been on for like a couple of weeks now. Radio stations are already playing the song, a lot of them. We've shot the music video. So the song is flying. It's actually a great song. It's an Amapiano song. It's got great sort of house elements like deep house and soulful house elements in it with that Yano's bass in it. And we did all of that on purpose as well, deliberately, because the range of Amapiano is quite big. You know what I mean? Amapiano, I think, as a genre can literally be here for many, many years. We just need to have a lot more fun with it now. You know what I'm trying to say?
But why go back into that space? Because, you come from station manager background, which is very corporate, very serious.
Yeah.
Now, why are you trying to...
Yeah, 100%. And words matter. So it's so going back, I don't think is sort of the right word,
Okay.
It's an extension of who I am. It's certain things don't leave you, and because I started, so what I studied, and I started as this, right? Maybe that's why you say going back to it, because there was a time when obviously I was more of an executive than doing this, but I still believe that I've got a great brand, right? I still believe that there's a lot of room for Tholi B in the entertainment industry.
Elinye!
Tholi Bazaar.
Elinye!
I think there's a lot of room, brother. And I did it for two reasons: to work on my brand, because I actually do believe in myself still, work on my brand, but also to work with the young people that I'm working with as well. You know what I mean? To assist them as well, to help
put
them
them
as
on.
well, to put them on. And that's why we're doing it. That's why we're spending money, we're spending time to do it. But also, we really believe that the stuff we're doing is great.
Yeah.
That's another thing. We really truly believe that what we're doing is very good. The song is called La La Love. It features Ando, produced by Big Robza. A guy called Timothy Baloy played on the guitars. Man, it is great.
You know what I love about you, man?
Yeah.
Like, you're so multifaceted in the stuff that you can do. But whatever it is, you do fucking well at it. And I think it's just a testament of if hard work was a person.
No, thanks, my brother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's DJing, producing, sound engineering, station manager, TV presenting, radio, and whatever you're gonna be, like a father, whatever it is, like you fucking kill it. And there's no person I know who can say Tholi B fucked up here or Tholi B didn't. You know what I mean? Like you immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're doing that you at the time.
Yeah, I do.
If Trevor Noah is not careful, the Daily Show might be yours.
Come on now. Hey now. That's the thing. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that, The thing is, I've got this thing, and people have told me this, that once I put my mind to something, I do it. And more often than not, I do it well. There is one thing I didn't do well.
Having a baby.
No. That's coming. Don't worry about that. I once, and sometimes you'd ask people, if there's something you'd change in life, blah, blah, and whatnot, and everyone says, rightfully so, no, I'd never change anything. I learned from everything, right? There is one thing I'd change with my life, I once owned a club called Niche.
Oh, yes, in Rosebank.
In Rosebank.
Capital, underground.
Capital, I spent so much time in Capital, as a promoter. Foolish Thursdays, we made so much money there. We did great things there. We got foolish there. But I then invested a lot of money in building Niche.
I wanted to tell you that was a bad idea.
100%. You should have told me before. Just like I should have told you a lot of things before. Before you fucked up, I should have come and said, no, don't do that. So that was not a smart idea, right? But it's the guy in me, it's the entrepreneur in me, it's the guy who wants to try new things in me that did all of those things, right? But also I knew the moment I did it. It's just that sometimes you can't get out immediately. The moment I did it, I knew that, this is not such a good idea. So I actually spent more time trying to rectify and get out of it than trying to make it work, if that makes any sense, right? It's not a good place to be, especially when you've used your money. The good thing about me is I never used anyone else's money. So I don't have people coming to me for their monies, you know what I'm trying to say? But it was so bad. I used to get death threats because I own that place.
From other club owners?
I don't know. Like people, I mean, the one time in fact, twice this has happened. One time I'm driving from Niche going home. You stay behind, you cash up. You
guys
do
were
the counts and
pumping.
blah, blah. And, we were pumping at some stage, I'm going home. I can see the cars following me. I'm on, you go on Republic, Smarts and then Republic. I used to stay in the West Rand there. And a car comes through. This car that I think is following me comes and cuts me off, right? There's 4 guys in the car. One guy comes out. He's got a gun. I'm alone. I'm going home. Right? And the guy, one of the guys in the car says, "Eh, Morena, Pela, Tholi ba waka Tholi bi." This guy comes to me, "Sure, man, you're sure. Are going to Tholi bi? Kare hakin na Tholi bi." He says to me, one of the things that shocked me, even today, like I shake when I think of it, he says to me, "Why babatla rutishe?" That means, why do they want us to kill you? I couldn't even ask Bomang, Bakae. I don't know. Why? This is a warning. I couldn't even drive home. I literally was shaking while I was driving home. And I knew that what I've suspected about this business is right. Like, I shouldn't be in this. This is not me. It's not me. I made a terrible business decision, a terrible life decision as well, because it was a matter of life and death when it comes to that. And I obviously later found out there's all sorts of other things that are happening in there. I mean, the place is not there anymore now. I obviously told my mom and those close to me that, look, and I've put all that money in there, but I'm actually going to walk away because it's actually not worth it. It's not worth my life. It's not worth it. I'll tell you one thing, right, that I think we missed earlier on. This happened in 2015, right? Other than obviously me wanting to grow and going from 947 to Capricorn FM, it partly is because I wanted to leave Joburg, right? We never touched on that, ne? It was partly because I actually had to leave Joburg because of things like those. Partly, not all of it, obviously, right? But partly I needed to go, And yeah, so that was, I mean, I'm not going to lie to anyone and say that was a gravy train. Yeah, you owned Niche, was so cool. All the mics were hanging from the roof, blah, blah. Yeah, we designed all this stuff. I gave it the name. That's my name. I came up with it. Did the design for all this stuff. I put money in there, But it was a terrible thing to do. You know what I mean? And to some extent, I'll never forgive myself for doing it. Because at the time, me and my family, my mom and my sister and my nephew, were thinking of sort of starting a family business, which I was going to fund. Guess what Tholi does? I took that money that we were going to use for that and I put it in Niche. And all of it went. Damn. Right? So that's the one thing we never spoke about. So you do make some terrible decisions in life. They actually do help you grow, right? But some lessons can come in different ways. You know what I mean?
God.
The lesson could have come in a different way.
That's the underworld, dog.
It didn't have to come in that. Yeah, I knew I was way in too deep, way beneath I couldn't even, my feet weren't even touching the floor or the ground, you know what I mean? I was just floating and I could tell, oh, cool, I'm going in way too deep here and I won't be able to.
So you could have been gone that day?
100%. I could have been gone on that day.
Fuck.
Could have been gone on that day. It was in November of 2015.
And it's because your club was doing well and they don't want that. You're taking money from them.
Yeah. Partly, yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't pinpoint who the person is or whatever the case is, but that happened,
That's crazy. You've never told me that.
I don't tell a lot of people that.
Shit, bro.
My family knows. 1 or 2 friends know. But yeah, the hiatus was partly because of that, but I'm back now. I'm happy.
Hectic.
And I'm doing what I love, yeah.
Shit, man. We ain't going back to Niche. Fuck Niche. Fuck Niche. Totally B. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. It's...
in closing, man, what do you want to be remembered as, man?
Oh, man, I'd like to be remembered as the guy that put his mind on something and did it. matter how tough it was. The guy that when he saw opportunities, he took them and learned from them, obviously. But also the guy that realizes that when something is wrong, you need to move. You know what I mean? There's no reason in sort of holding on to something that's not working, you know? I like to be remembered as a great broadcaster because I really believe that there's still room for someone like me. I actually believe there's room for someone like you as well in today's sort of radio and broadcasting. And I like to be remembered as a guy who gave, you know, who gave time, who gave money when he had, who gave advice when he had. Because I love giving. You know what I mean? I enjoy it when I'm giving people, when I'm teaching people. I really love that kind of stuff, you know. And those close to me, whom I have done stuff for, will vouch for me one day. Those who don't know about it, at least they can learn about it, you know. But also I'd like to also be remembered as a guy who's played quite a big role in getting what I would consider sort of, you know, small guys from rural areas to the pinnacle of their dreams.
Chakuma.
You know what I mean? From Chakuma, you know, to the pinnacle of their dreams without fear, you know. And the journey hasn't even begun yet. You know, there's still so much to be done.
Yeah.
And much will be done.
Kosimur, what do you want? It's been great, man. In closing, can you give them the classic Nima journey, the way you did it in the studio that day?
The way I did it in the studio for you that day.
Ladies and gentlemen, never ever before have you heard this on Podcast and Chill. It's an exclusive. My 2000, Google this shit.
Nima
Oh, you're taking me back. Podcast and Chill, we out here, man. Boom.
Enda. Bamini.